Hi, my name is Fred Rundle. I'm the Assistant Superintendent of Learning Services for the Mercer Island School District.
And I'm Jamie Prescott, Director of Learning Services for the Mercer Island School District.
Today we're here to announce the launch of what we're calling MIOnline, Mercer Island's first rollout of a K-12 online learning environment.
MIOnline falls under what we call alternative learning experiences, or referenced as ALE. ALE has been available in the Mercer Island School District for many years. It is something coordinated by OSPI that we apply for. Generally, we have been able to provide online coursework for up to 50% of a student's schedule, where a course is needed that we either don't offer or is needed in a different format than a traditional classroom setting. ALE does offer opportunities for students to have a touch point with staff members, but instruction is provided online asynchronously full-time for students. ALE is not where in-person attendance is required, and it's not typical daily learning that takes place in one of the 6 district schools with a classroom teacher. Online learning means a course or grade level coursework in which more than half of the course content, including assignments and assessments, is delivered electronically, and that more than half the teaching is conducted from a remote location through an online course learning management system. A certificated teacher has the primary responsibility for the student's instructional interaction pertaining to the online learning. And students do have access to the teacher synchronously, asynchronously, or both at varying times. The ALE spectrum includes these different options. There's site-based courses where student learning plans and expectations require some instructional contact time. So students who have been in our high school or middle school ALE courses previously have experienced where their instruction and learning occurs via an online platform with an outside provider, and they have once weekly, if not more, check-ins with a site teacher on campus during that time. Remote courses are where student learning plans and expectations do not require in-person contact time. So the only contact students are having is with the instructor assigned to them via the online providers. And then online courses are what we talked about here as far as online learning, where there could be a blend of different options.
Let's take a closer look at what online learning or MIOnline looks like from a student perspective, as well as other ALE options. Using our COVID-19 reopening schools model, in which Superintendent Koloski has outlined that when we're in a red learning day, that's when we would be in remote learning. An orange learning day would be some combination of remote and or in-person, and then a yellow learning day would be a return to in-person learning for students. As you know from Superintendent Koloski's July 24th communication to the community, due to the changing dynamics and the impact of health and safety in and around the Puget Sound region, Mercer Island School District will be opening for all students in a red learning model. This means that our students and teachers will be engaging in an online remote learning environment. So let's look at that through the lens of ALE. In a red learning day, we do not have students learning in a typical classroom. So the student is a no for here because they're not in school. They're also a no for remote or site-based because we're not offering in-person touch points. But it does look like a form of online learning because all students would be learning online. Similarly, in an orange learning day where there'd be a hybrid, it's a maybe for the typical classroom because a student might be in person, but they might also be online. From a remote and site-based lens, again, this would be a maybe, because again, there's the option, and online is also a maybe because they might be online or they might be in person. When we take a look at the yellow learning day, which is what we all desire when all students are back in the building, interacting with teachers on a daily basis and other students, We are learning in a typical classroom, so the student is a yes because they're in the classroom. If a student is may still be learning remotely or site-based, but we wouldn't be offering the full complement of online learning. I want to take a moment to draw a quick distinction. MIOnline, which Jamie and I are presenting today, is neither a red learning day, an orange learning day, or a yellow learning day, because those models really pertain to students who are enrolled, as Jamie said, in one of our 6 elementary schools. MIOnline is really a 7th school, if you will, in the Mercer Island School District, where students are committing to the online option throughout the year, which may or may not be taught by a Mercer Island teacher. Let's continue to take a look. From the OSPI perspective, the Office of Superintendent of Public Instruction, they categorize school districts under 3 broad categories for offering ALE or online learning. Some districts are what we call multi-district online school programs. These are school districts that offer full comprehensive online learning and also do not have a limit on the number of students who may be living in or out of their district who are participating. We can also be an affiliate online school program where we're using perhaps one of these other larger districts or private vendors to offer coursework. This is what Mercer Island School District has been categorized as in the past, where we've offered particularly 6 through 12's coursework through Fuel, Apex, Spokane Virtual, or other options. What we've now moved to as a Mercer Island School District is what we call the Single District Online School Program. This means that we've expanded to include kindergarten all the way through 12th grade. We can offer individual courses to students who want to enroll part-time or just in some courses, or we can have students who are enrolled fully online who are still considered part of the Mercer Island School District, but they attend MIOnline instead of Mercer Island High School, Islander Middle School, or any of our 4 elementary schools. The MIOnline model, as we described, is really broken down into a K-5, 6-8, and 9-12 program. We will work closely with families who are seriously considering enrolling in MIOnline because there are implications to further post-high school work, particularly with NCAA eligibility, courses that need to be aligned to the expectations for graduations, and making sure that students stay on track for an online graduation or an on-time graduation. We also have to think about enrollment and thinking where is the student technically enrolled. Our goal is to keep as many students enrolled in the Mercer Island School District as possible, but we also need a commitment for longer than just incremental periods of time. We'll work with individual families, but oftentimes that enrollment could be for an entire year and or at least 1 grading period. A student who's taking advantage of MIOnline is still part of the Mercer Island School District and has the full access to resources such as the Mercer Island Youth and Family Services counselors, before and after school activities, as well as other programs. But we want to reemphasize that MIOnline is not the red or remote learning. So students would be attending the MIOnline and not one of our schools. So some of the next steps is we need to finalize our fall learning models, which we have done based on Superintendent Koloski's announcement again on July 24th, that we will be in a red learning remote model. We need to be reaching out to families, which we will be doing so in the coming weeks with enrollment information for MIOnline. We will be reviewing course content that's available, and we'll also be thinking about teachers and practitioners who can be teaching in the MIOnline model. As Jamie alluded to, not all courses will have teachers from Mercer Island School District teaching them. In some cases, some of our other third-party providers, such as Edgenuity or Apex, will be providing the teachers for this online learning environment.
So to provide a little distinction as to what MIOnline is and what MIOnline is not, we developed this chart. So if you look at what MIOnline is, it is full-time online learning for students. So the emphasis will be on core content areas, but students will not be transitioning back to school as soon as it is safe and allowable. They will be continuing online for the duration of at least a grading period, if not the entire year. MIOnline might have a blend of MISD teachers and certificated teachers from approved providers, as Dr. Rundle mentioned. It will really depend on numbers, by grade level, and by course need. MIOnline is also a learning environment for students who do not intend to return to the buildings when they're open. MIOnline has assigned MISD staff to support and monitor students' progress at least weekly. So even if a student enrolled in MIOnline is receiving their general education content from outside providers, the Mercer Island School District will be providing staff for at least weekly check-ins to support and monitor students. Of course, the younger the student is, the more frequently we will have somebody checking in with them. It's important to note that MIOnline, like all other online learning that occurs from outside providers, private entities, etc., needs to be parent supported from home. And there's an approximately a 30-70 split of teacher-parent support. What MIOnline is not a complete offering of all courses students would enroll in if they were attending in-person school. Some courses cannot be recreated in an online remote environment via external providers. It will not be MISD teachers providing full-time live online instruction. Even if we have enough enrollment to provide an MISD teacher to teach the course, they will not be live streaming 6.5 hours to 7 hours a day of instruction. Much of it will be asynchronous with support as need be. MIOnline is not an opportunity to flex in and out of online learning throughout the year. As Superintendent Koloski has outlined, we are beginning the year in a red learning day. As such, if we transition to orange or yellow and students are able to come into the building, students who want to remain online will not have the option to jump in and out of MIOnline as we go. This is a result of needing to assign staff and provide a robust opportunity for students via MIOnline and planning for students who will be in person. MIOnline will not have daily Zoom sessions for extended periods of time, and it will not be 100% teacher-supported online instruction. To see what this looks like based on your students' grade levels, let's take a deeper dive into what it looks like at each level.
Beginning with the K-5 MIOnline, it's important to realize that the learning standards that our teachers use in our 4 elementary schools are the same ones that a MIOnline teacher would be following and teaching to students. The teacher, regardless of whether or not they're in one of our schools or in MIOnline, are credentialed teachers from the state of Washington. And the enrollment, as Jamie was outlining, is actually very similar to enrolling in one of the 4 elementary schools. Currently, if you live in the attendance area for Island Park or West Mercer, you would go to that school and you'd be enrolling in that school, and that becomes your home school. Students who enroll in MIOnline are essentially making that their new home school. It doesn't mean that at a later time, maybe next year, if your family leaves one of our schools to attend MIOnline for health and safety reasons or perhaps other reasons, it does not preclude a family from returning to one of our elementary schools. Like we said, MIOnline is still part of the Mercer Island School District, but we will be wanting a longer commitment, as Jamie outlined, than just several weeks at a time rolling in and out because of the disruption that that causes to the students' overall learning program. Taking a look at the teacher responsibilities, Jamie outlined these nicely in a previous slide, but our teacher responsibilities include checking in with students weekly, holding synchronous learning opportunities. However, much of the learning turns over after the lesson to the student and a trusted adult at home. So we want to make sure we're transparent in realizing that families need to have their eyes wide open that MIOnline is not, as Jamie said, a replacement for 6.5 hours of online instruction monitored by a teacher each day. The touch point may only be once a week, perhaps twice a week during an office hour, and then the learning continues online using a variety of platforms. As your district partner, we will continue to work with all schools, including MIOnline, to support teaching and learning, to foster those really important teacher and family relationships, and to make sure that all MIOnline families feel a part of the Mercer Island School District, just as if you are participating in one of our 6 schools. Again, MIOnline is not the same as a Red Learning Day. We brought that up several times because we just want families to realize that if they choose to stay in our elementary schools and participate in the Red Learning Day with Mercer Island teachers and students assigned to individual classrooms, that is really part of our general education offering during this COVID-19 reopening. So when we're operating on a Red Learning Day with students back or as part of our 4 elementary schools, as you may have seen, they're receiving daily instruction from their assigned classroom teacher in 3 large learning chunks, with other chunks available for specialists, social emotional learning, and checking in with their teachers. MIOnline, as we said, is a weekly check-in with teachers, with much of the learning taking place asynchronously. The benefit of MIOnline from some parents' perspectives and families is that it would be predictable and there wouldn't be a movement from a red learning to perhaps a blended orange learning and then back in school. MIOnline would be a predictable platform of online learning throughout the year. With that, let's take a look at our 6-8 and our 9-12 MIOnline schooling model.
Much like the K-5 overview, our middle school standards will align with both our district and state standards that are already adopted. Additionally, teachers may or may not be MISD teachers depending on the course, but all teachers providing content and curriculum will be credentialed in Washington. Enrollment would be in the MIOnline middle school, and it would be for the school year. Similarly to the K-5 MIOnline responsibilities, the middle school responsibilities are very similar. Again, the teacher will be an advisor for assigned students and oversee their overall programs, making sure they're making progress. They will be coordinating with counselors and will meet with students at least weekly. And if they're assigned as an instructor, then they would meet daily for a particular course. The teacher will help develop a learning plan with the family and student that helps meet their needs and is working towards what they will need to move forward and matriculate as they continue either in middle school or on to high school in future years. Students will be responsible to engage in Zoom conferences weekly with their advisor. And if they are being taught by district teachers, they will engage in daily learning. They will also need to be self-motivated or supported by parents or adults at home to engage in asynchronous learning provided via external contractors and providers to make progress in their content. The district will continue to try to support families and students, and as Dr. Rendell said, making sure that students are connected and families are connected district-wide, even if selecting the MIOnline for the school year. In a middle school model of the MIOnline learning, again, it's not part of the red learning. A student would not move through the continuum as outlined here in the graphic. MIOnline students would be in a predictable year-long online model, and MIOnline students will receive instruction from a variety of instructors. It will again depend on grade level and course selection as to whether or not it will be a district teacher or an online provider teacher. Some of the challenges, as you can imagine, are our teachers at the secondary level do not teach all subject areas. They specialize and are experts in given fields. And so any district teacher from middle school, and the same will pertain to high school, can't teach science, English, language arts, social studies, math, and elective opportunities. When looking at the high school model, again, everything will align with state and district standards. There will be credentialed Washington teachers, and enrollment would be at minimum for a semester, because that is what our online providers require, but perhaps for the entire school year. MIOnline High School, similar responsibilities as the middle school, and student responsibilities are the same as far as engaging in Zoom conferences. There will still be weekly meetings, and if it's a district teacher providing the instruction, there will be daily learning as well. Much like the middle school, MIOnline High School will require that students have different instructors for different courses. There will be some flexibility to provide opportunities like AP courses, but not all courses that are offered at our current high school are available online. So the teacher, the student, and parent will work closely with the high school counselor assigned to the student to ensure that all courses that a student is registered for via MIOnline meet their graduation needs as they're working towards graduation.
We want to thank you for tuning in today and learning more about MIOnline. We realize that our presentation today likely has generated a number of your own questions. Jamie and I will be serving as the lead administrators for MIOnline and collaborating closely with our schools. Our middle and high school students should certainly involve their school counselor if and when they make a decision to become more serious or to actually enroll in MIOnline. I want to remind everyone that an immediate decision does not need to be made today as we sit here in late July preparing for the 2020-2021 school year. But we will be reaching out to the community in the coming week to start making enrollment a possibility. The sooner we know enrollment numbers, the sooner we can prepare for the next school year. But we also know that you're just digesting the realization that our school district will be opening in an online remote red learning environment for the 2020-2021 school year. There are some courses for our middle and high schoolers that can start a little later on in the school year and a student can still make progress. However, there are others that we need to start right from the beginning of the school year. Because of the individual nature of this program and the courses offered, we will be working with families individually. And please know that what might work best for one student in an online environment may not be the best fit for another student. So we will continue to provide information. We will launch a MIOnline website with more information and continue to communicate with you. We appreciate everyone's patience, thoughtfulness, and support of the Mercer Island School District as we continue to find positive responses to the impacts of COVID-19. We feel that the launch of MIOnline is something that will not only benefit students this year, but benefit students for many years to come. On behalf of Jamie and myself, thank you and have a safe and healthy rest of your summer.